Welcome to the TNT Boxing Podcast. I'm your host, TNT Tomlinson, and I'm here with my co-host, Ironbar Boxing. Today, we have a very special guest here with us. He is the former two-time heavyweight champion of the world. He's also the former two-time NABF heavyweight champion and USBA heavyweight champion. Fighting from 1979 to 2003, his record as a pro is 55 wins, 13 losses, with 38 wins by knockout. He fought boxing legends and luminaries like Larry Holmes, Frank Bruno, Tony Tubbs, Pinklin Thomas, Greg Page, and Bone Crusher Smith. Ladies and gentlemen, Tim Witherspoon. So thanks for talking with us today, Tim. So what was your childhood like growing up in Philadelphia?
Oh, what was my childhood like?
Yeah.
Okay, hold on. Okay, sorry everybody. Okay, okay, I grew up in the area not too far from where Sylvester Stallone made the movie Rocky, the Italian Market. So I was born in an area with it was racism a lot when I was little. You hear the N-word a lot when you went to school. And when we walked to school, we had to be careful. And when we leave the school, we had to be careful. And after a certain time of day, like 5 or 6 o'clock, you do not go back across this boundary, or else you would get hurt. So you isolated. After a certain time, you had to stay in the neighborhood. But that was when I was young, and I had friends that liked me, white friends and stuff. That we go to school, we talk, and it was kind of dangerous though when we were little, going and coming back from school. But I primarily played sports. A big brother of mine. I got a Jewish big brother and a black big brother, Tommy Wade, who would take us to church. He would take us to church every Sunday, and we look forward to not disappointing him by getting in anything bad. When he come in on the weekend, we don't want no bad reports. Time was me, my brother, I had a couple other friends, and we would look forward to Tommy coming in to take us to playing sports. So I wasn't in gangs. I just wanted to, I didn't want to disappoint my mom by being in bad stuff. So that's a little bit from where I was. I was born right down in, like I said, the Italian neighborhood, in between the Italian neighborhood and the Irish neighborhood, and we were all in the middle with Hispanics and stuff. And it was kind of rough.
Now, you played a lot of sports, I know, and you're good at a lot of sports, but what made you want to start boxing?
Okay, now, like I said, the guy Tommy Wade had me and several of my young friends playing football, baseball. I made all Philadelphia as a tight end in school. I was a tight end. My brother was all state, all Pennsylvania. He was a split end. And we were groomed to play other sports. I got a scholarship.
I read about that.
I got a 4-year scholarship at a college called Lincoln University in Missouri. And my marks wasn't that great. So I had to go to a smaller college. And then we was going to go to, our plan was to go to a bigger college. But we went to the small college and I played. I started as a freshman. I got hurt. This guy hit me I caught a pass over the middle. 2 cornerbacks hit me.
Mm-hmm.
And I was getting ready to break free from them. One of them grabbed my legs. On the way down, this big linebacker speared me in the back. So I was out. I was out of that, and I was young. I didn't know that. I didn't realize that a 4-year football scholarship was there for me, and I left. We left. Me and my friend. He left. We left because he was like messing with these guys, and they. Friends were coming from Chicago to come hurt us, and we got tickets and got out of there. So when I went home, just recovering from college and everything, there was a boxer named Buster Drayton. There was a number writer. A number writer that was, hey man, y'all guys young. Why you want to stop playing sports? Why don't you box? So me and my friend Keith Davis like, hey, let's give it a try. And that's how I got that's how I started boxing. This number writer named Bishop, old man Bishop, made a proposition to us, but he never showed up. So Buster Drayton, who went on to become the junior middleweight champion of the world, was talking to us, and he said, "Hey, why don't you come to the gym? You wanted to fight. I heard you wanted to fight." So we went to the gym with him, and that's how my career started. The old Passion Gym is down where Sylvester Stallone made the movie, right near the Italian market.
Yeah.
Just walk right up the steps, but the market is right there.
Yeah. So who are some of the fighters you watched and admired growing up?
I'm sorry, what was that?
Who are some of the fighters you watched and admired growing up?
Muhammad Ali was the greatest. And then I went on to become his sparring partner and everything, but here I am watching Muhammad Ali, Joe Frazier, and I'm not even fighting yet. I'm not even a fighter. I'm not even, in training. So I'm watching Muhammad Ali and all these fights, but what encouraged me to fight was sports, just sports period. But Muhammad Ali, Joe Frazier, George Foreman, let me see, Sugar Ray Robinson. I had, it was light heavyweights. Who was the light heavyweights? Who was the light heavyweight guys? Bob Foster, the older guys.
Yeah, Bob Foster, Archie Moore way before that.
Yes.
Mike Spinks was really good.
Michael Spinks.
Yeah. Marvin Johnson.
Sparring partner. Marvin Johnson. I was Mike Spinks' sparring partner, and I was Eddie Mustafa Muhammad's sparring partner when he knocked Marvin Johnson out.
Now, okay, so these are some of your favorite fighters. Who was like your favorite athlete? Was it a boxer or was it somebody else?
My favorite athlete.
Yeah, when you were a kid. It's okay if it's a boxer. I like that, but I know you did so many sports. I thought.
Muhammad Ali. I like Muhammad Ali, but when I was little, I liked the Jim Brown.
Yeah.
I liked the Jim Brown and Timmy Brown, the running back. I used to watch them all the time because I played football.
Yes.
And I liked the Jim Brown and Tim Brown. Tim Brown was a tailback for the Eagles, and Jim Brown, I think, was with somebody else, but he might have started off with the Eagles. I don't think so.
I think he was with the Browns, wasn't he? He was with
He was with the Browns, right? But Timmy Brown, I used to follow him, and I liked him. Ron Jaworski.
Did you know Jim Brown was like one of the best lacrosse players of all time?
It's the first time I'm hearing.
Isn't that crazy?
Yeah, he's rough enough.
He is rough enough.
He is strong.
He is. I mean, he's like one of the best American athletes, I think, ever. But
He had a great personality, from what I understand, also.
yeah, and he was very.
Really nice person.
Yeah, he was an extraordinary person.
Yeah. So how did you get the nickname Terrible?
Okay, everybody thought it was Muhammad Ali, and there was a lot of people that was saying let it stay like that, because he heard other people call me Terrible Tim. Then he promoted it when I was boxing. Oh, Terrible Tim. He used to tease me when I was sparring when I'm Terrible Tim, and so people thought that Ali gave me the name, but it was actually a friend that I grew up with named Talik Eddie Burgess. He followed me to the old Passion Gym one day. We used to walk through the bad neighborhood too. We used to walk through the Italian neighborhood to get to the gym. You can get hurt. So, he walked with me to the old Passion Gym where they made the movie.
Mm-hmm.
I was training there, and I was in the ring sparring with this guy. At a young age, I'm sparring with this guy. And then when I got out the ring, he said, "Tim, you terrible, boy. He said, man, you terrible." And I was like, okay, I didn't really take the name in. And I was like, okay. He kept calling me terrible. We went home. We walked home. He said, "Man, that Tim is terrible." And then he kept on saying it, and then he kept on saying it. And then I said, "Man, I might as well keep that name." He said, "That's my man." So everybody thought Ali did it. But I asked Ali, I said, "Ali, I want my friend to get all the credit because he's the one that get it." He said, "Man, just go ahead, no problem." So everybody thought it was Ali.
I thought it was Ali.
Yeah.
Yeah, it wasn't. It was my friend I grew up with.
And what's his name again?
His name is Talik Eddie Burgess. Talik Eddie Burgess.
All right,
I
shout out.
posted it on Facebook the other day too.
Okay.
And he used to go around with me to to the gym. He'd come to the gym sometimes, and in sports, he lived a couple of doors over. So that's who originally gave me the name, Talik Eddie Burgess.
So you started boxing later than most. What made you opt for a defensive style?
Say that again.
I'm sorry. You started boxing later than most. What made you opt for a defensive style?
What made me
Yeah.
offer?
Yeah,
Opt.
because you had a great defense, I thought.
Yeah.
Well, what's that word?
Opt, like pick an option for something. Because, you weren't like a slugger. You were a smart defensive guy and a good puncher.
Okay, so Slim Robinson taught me everything I know. Slim Jim Robinson, who trained Mike Rawson and the Jewish Bomber,
Yep.
who really did well. There's a lot of people asking for Slim to train him, but there was the other side of Slim. He stick with the fighters and he tell the fighters stuff that he think that the fighters should benefit on, and a lot of the promoters and stuff didn't like that. And that's not Slim didn't only teach you boxing. He would tell you, he would mention the things to you that wasn't right that you should clear up. And some of the managers didn't like that. So, but he taught me some business things, and he taught me the skill. He taught me the shell. He taught me the slipping. He showed me how to throw the overhand right, because when I throw the straight right, it wasn't strong enough. So that's how the overhand right that I throw was developed. My straight right wasn't strong enough, so he started me leaping it, hooking it over, like looping it over the overhand. And that's how it was developed through me. And Slim was a very intelligent boxer, man. And I'm surprised that the credit he don't get a lot. He do get a lot of credit, but the nationwide people, they don't give. They don't really know of them. I guess they do, and they just the timing is not right.
So you sparred with Ali before his fights with Holmes and Burbick. And so what sorts of things did you learn sparring with Ali? And, do you have any stories or anything interesting that happened in some of those training camps?
Oh, yeah. When Ali fought Holmes, he was sick.
Yes.
I didn't really learn too much from Muhammad Ali. Muhammad Ali was a bouncer, a dancer, a mover, a fast puncher,
Mm-hmm.
and he naturally slipped punches. I was trained to slip and miss punches through a teacher. Ali had natural movement. When he bounced around, you threw punches, he naturally moved out the way of those punches. Now, I do have skills that can do that, but I was taught how to position myself and move my shoulders and put my hands up, technically and stuff, and move and block stuff. Where Ali had all natural. Floyd Mayweather is a natural mover, and it'll be hard for him to teach.
Mm-hmm.
He can teach his movement, but there's a basic movement like the shell. You teach your hands against your body.
Yes.
You slip one side, so you can be taught that, and it's not complicated to get taught that. But that's one defense. But there's a natural defense which Ali and Floyd had, where it'd be hard for them to teach an up-and-coming boxer because of the natural movement. When the punch comes, they just move out the way.
Mm-hmm.
If you understand what I mean. So,
Yes.
So Slim taught me the shell stuff, and he added on things, and then I added on. Once I learned basic defense, I added on things that would help me, that I can get away with. Once he showed me the basics, I started adding little movements to make my opponent miss me, but the majority of it was Slim teaching me the basics of the defense, and then I went on and tried to add. Matter of fact, me and Bernard Hopkins' uncle Artie McLeod, who I came up with, and his name was Artie McLeod, had gray eyes, and we would sit down in Don King's camp, and at late at night and stuff, and be doing maneuvers. Like, we can't go to sleep because we've been training all day. Then sometimes we can't go to sleep, and the gym is to do things, and that was a beautiful thing too.
So you weren't a very experienced fighter going into the Holmes fight. You only had about 15 pro fights. How were you able to put on such a great performance?
Well, I had a great trainer, and I had confidence in him. Slim Robinson gave me the chip. When Don King offered us the fight, I was like, Slim, ain't we kind of too soon to be doing that? And Slim said, Tim, you're going to kick his ass. And I said, what? He said, we going to whip him. And that's all I had, confidence in Slim. He was the best. And once Slim said that, we started chopping wood. We started running together. Everybody wanted, because, you know, the atmosphere where we were kind of low. A lot of people wasn't getting paid right. Everybody knew that Don King wasn't really treating the boxers right. So we stuck together. And when they knew I was fighting Larry, everybody motivated me. Everybody was on my side. You know, I had broke my jaw a year before that, teaching one of this light heavyweight named Lightning Bob Smith, this young kid up and coming. He passed away, but I was teaching him how to throw the left hook. And when I was opening my mouth, he hit me, boom. And that's what pushed the fight back a little further, because I got my jaw broke. But preparing for the Larry Holmes fight, man, my trainer, as soon as he said we're gonna whip his ass, I said, let's go. And I started training hard. And everybody was helping me. We running in the morning. We was chopping. And then when it came time for the fight, what gave me more energy was Larry was down on me, because who is this young kid just coming out of the Philly? Nobody know who he is. Not scared of Larry Holmes. Going up against him. Had no name. Had no money. Larry told me he was going to knock me out and take my girl from me. He said I was on welfare. He was...
Oh, man.
His game was to belittle me and see if that'd take a lot of aggression. I mean, you know, to take away from me coming at him and being, you know, strong against him. But what it did was gave me energy and made me mad.
Yes.
It made me more aggressive. So that was one of his tactics, but it backfired. It made me mean, and when that bell rung, I jumped right on him. Said, okay, I'm going to give you this for all that stuff you talked about. But
Now,
he was telling the truth. I didn't have no money. I was up and coming. I didn't have no money. And those things pushed me hard to try to win that fight.
now I scored that fight, and I actually messaged you years ago on Facebook after I watched it for about the 10th time. Now, I scored that fight for you, and there was some crazy...
That is beautiful.
Well, it's true, you know. And now, but some judge scored it like 118, 111. Now, what was going on? Do you think there was a payoff? Do you think they favored Holmes? I mean, you think you won the fight. I think you won that fight. Patrick?
I do.
Patrick thinks so. So what do you think about the scoring? I mean, your performance was amazing.
Yeah.
And Holmes did well too, but you did better.
He did. All he had was to me was a jab, and he had a big heart. I'm serious. And he hit that right. He threw that right hand. So all we had to do was practice blocking Larry Holmes' jab. Slim put all these good jabbers in, and for like a month and a half, we were practicing slipping and blocking jabs. So that's why I was so confident against Larry Holmes' jab. If you see in the fights,
Yes.
I didn't really care about his jabs.
Well,
But he had a big heart. He had a big heart, and he would fight you till you knock his ass out. Excuse my language.
No, that's okay.
fine.
And yeah, I thought you negated his jab completely. Like no one had ever done that with Larry Holmes.
And I got too relaxed with it too. A lot of times, my trainer taught me a lot of things, and when I got in the ring with different opponents, I was relaxed so much because I knew that I knew where my hands were supposed to be. I was so confident that I knew I could slip out the way. And sometimes I got hit with punches that wasn't hard punches, you know, but I had so much confidence that this guy couldn't hit me real good. That's what gave me a lot of confidence when those bells rang, when the bell rings and I got into those fights. And Larry, that fight was so easy. It was just that I only had 13 fights, and I only had 7 amateur fights, 13 professional fights, and I just started boxing in '79, and I'm fighting one of the greatest boxers in the world 3 years later.
It's incredible. It's incredible.
Yeah,
That was a great experience.
Yeah. After that fight in 1982, you fight James Tillis. Like, what were your feelings and history with James Tillis going into your fight with him?
Oh wow, that fight. I was supposed to fight him earlier, and that's when I got. I think I got something. I got an injury. I had got an injury, and so they canceled that fight. I had an injury or something.
Is that
So
when is that when Don King like basically really came down on you?
I think so. I think so. He did something. What happened was
He was mad you were going to cancel the fight. I mean, he was really pissed off from what I read.
okay. So I got sick.
Yeah, that's right. You had
I
like a
got sick.
lung
I'm
thing,
sorry.
or I can't remember what it was.
I got sick, and so he wanted me. We were supposed to fight in Cleveland. We were supposed to fight in Cleveland, I
That's
think.
King's hometown.
But okay, yeah, but I got sick.
Yeah.
I got sick. Okay, I'm just trying to remember that. I'm trying to remember. I got sick and I had an ear infection. And so I was sparring. We was getting ready for the Quick Tillers fight, and I was sparring. So I got hit in my head, and there was a really bad pain.
Yes.
And I said, oh man, I said something wrong, Slim. And I almost like not fainted, but it was like a feeling that I never felt before. So Slim said, take the headgear off, and took me to the doctors.
Mm-hmm.
And they said I had a bad ear infection. And so we went back to the camp, and we called my manager and everything, and the manager said, no, I'm calling Don. We got to cancel this fight. So yeah, I got it now. So we canceled the fight. So then Don King said, okay, the fight is canceled. I want you guys to come to Ohio and tell the media and stuff why you're not fighting.
That's right.
So his plan was, once he get me there, he was going to try to make me fight. So when I got there, we flew in there from the airport. The people ran up to me and said, "Hey Tim, are you ready for the fight?" So they was thinking that I was coming there to a press conference to fight. And then I said, "Oh man, this is crazy." So they tried to get me to sign the fight. They tried to get me to collaborate with them to take the fight.
Mm-hmm.
And I told them, look, I got an ear infection. I got a doctor told me I can't. So they tried to get me to fight. And so I told them no. We flew home. They suspended me.
Yes.
That's what happened. The Ohio State, the Cleveland box commissioner suspended me. And I didn't know I was going there for this. I thought I was going there just to tell the people why I can't fight. So I flew home. This is when I knew Don King was really powerful.
Mm-hmm.
More powerful than what he was. I flew home. They suspended me there. I flew home, and I was trying to wait things out. Then 1 month went by, another went by. I said, I better call this guy and apologize. I had to use like trigonometry, whatever you want to call it.
Mm-hmm.
And I called him and said, I'm sorry. Blah, 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 blah. Then they remade the Quick Tillers fight. I mean, I signed the contract without even reading it.
Yes.
Because he controlled everything. So I'm fighting Quick Tillers, and I got him out of there, knocked him out in the first round.
Yeah.
So as soon as I made up with Don, I was fighting again. My career was back on time. They got me a fight with Quick Tillers, and Quick Tillers was saying, "Oh, you punk, you were scared to fight me." We got in the elevator together, said, "All right, I'm gonna knock your behind right out," and that's what I did. He was teasing me.
Yeah.
You was scared, punk. You didn't want to fight me. I knocked this buddy out in the first round.
Now you finally got another shot for the WBC title in '84, and you're fighting Greg Page for the vacant championship. So how did it feel winning the world title?
Well, I don't think at any point that I had the real good feeling of being a champion. By the way it went, I knew that Greg Page was fighting with with him. And so what happened was I was training real hard, and Greg was training real hard. And I said, but I was arguing and telling the newspaper about Don, and Greg was also.
Mm-hmm.
So what I did, I said, you know what? To make this thing, expose this fight close, I wonder who would get it. So I stopped talking about Don King. Instead started training.
Right.
So we both was feuding with Don, and I said, you know what? I'm going to let Greg keep talking, because we both was like Don this, Don that. So I got quiet and wasn't saying negative things. You know, but when the fight came, I did fight the fight. We both was miserable, Greg and me.
Yep.
We both was fighting under the pressure of all the negative of Don King. So I just laid back with the verbal, and I'm not saying that got me the championship. The judges scored me the winner, but that was just one of the things that us boxers were going through. Here I am thinking that I just keep my mouth shut, that they give me the edge. And so it might have happened, and it might have not. You know, it might have gave me the edge, or it might have not. You know, the judges probably just judged it the way it was. But I felt that I won the fight against Greg. But that's what was actually going on. Greg was arguing with him. I was arguing. Was upset with the money, and I just kept quiet. I said, let me keep quiet. And if I stop, that if the fight go to distance or something like that, which it did, I knew that the judges would be on my side, because I think Don had a lot to do with those judges.
Yeah. So most fighters usually get, like, I guess their first defense is like an easier sort of defense. Your first defense was against Pinklin Thomas. Like, do you feel like you underestimated him going into the fight, or like, how did you feel about Pinklin going into the fight?
Yeah, well, I was feuding with Don. I was feuding with Don King about the money and all, about this and that. So I knew that if Pinklin Thomas would stand up and had a good fight, that they was going to give it to him, because I was busy telling the media. But if I would have known Pinklin Thomas was left-handed, I would have trained a lot differently. But, you know, my morale was kind of low. I know Don King was trying to get Tyson. He didn't care about me or Pinklin. And I fought the best fight I fought, but Pinklin won the championship just on the jab. So I don't think that they should give it to him just because he saw my head pop back several times during the fight. I was aggressive, you know, going to the body and fighting him and putting pressure on him. We found out that he had a rib was broke before the fight, or something was wrong with his left side. So he actually won the fight on the jab. But the thing was also, I was feuding with Don, and then, you know, and then Pinklin benefited by that, you know, and that's how the fight just ended up. Well, I was arguing with Don King before that fight and didn't really care. And you probably could tell afterwards when the fight was over. I didn't really care.
Now that fight, so you lost the championship, but do you think it helped you to learn anything when you fought Tubbs and beat him less than a year and a half later to get your second heavyweight title? Or was it just your mindset was better and your relationship with Don King was better? What helped you, or did anything help you from that Thomas defeat to go on and beat Tony Tubbs and get the WBA title?
No. I still was feuding with Don after that. I was still feuding with Don King. It didn't help. So wait a minute. Wait. So after the Pinklin Thomas fight, what fight was after that?
Oh shoot, I better look it up, man.
I know Bone Crusher was in there, but I don't think it was your fight right after Brawl. Could have been.
No, when I was supposed to get Tony Tubbs the rematch.
Oh, the rematch. That was Bone Crusher. What was
that?
So you had Mark Willis, and then you had James Broad. You beat Bone Crusher. You beat.
I beat Bone Crusher, shut him out every round.
Yeah, and then you had.
Almost knocked him out.
Then you had two more guys, and then in '86, then you got a shot at Tony Tubbs, who's WBA champ.
Right. So what It was my birthday on December 27th, and I was training, and I was up there. I was training, and we had a little party for me. My birthday was the 27th. We just was sitting around. People had a little bit of wine, and we said happy birthday. But I smoked marijuana outside, like the window was the door was open. So I went out there, and somebody was smoking. I said, "Hey man, give me a couple of drags of that." So I'm not lying. I smoked took about 5 or 6 drags, and not really realizing that the fight was the 17th.
Yeah.
And I was thinking about drugs or nothing like, about the drug test. And that was crazy. So once I beat Tubbs, I tested positive for marijuana. We had to give him a rematch.
Yes.
Yeah.
We had to give him a rematch. So so Don King, you got to give Tubbs a rematch. So I'm training for the Tubbs fight, and Tubbs comes up with an injury, which I never asked him up until today about. Came in with a shoulder injury, so I thought the fight was pushed back. And I thought, man, I'm supposed to fight Tony. So they called me a couple of days later saying, no, we got bone crushers coming in, and I said, look. My mandatory things with Tubbs, I got to give him a rematch. He said, no, you fight Bone Crusher. That's when I knew Don King didn't care about me, Bone Crusher, Tony Tubbs. He cared about Tyson because we knew that Don King was trying to get Tyson.
Yes.
Now, way before that, we were all in the camp. Me, Blood Green, Michael Dukes, all the heavyweights. We was all sitting in Don King's camp. Don King pulls up. I know I'm jumping from this story, that story.
No, that's okay.
But we all in Don King's camp, and he pulls up in the car. They say, oh, what Don King? So everybody got together out in front of the gym. We're sitting there, Don King telling us stories and stuff and saying things. And he said, yo, y'all heavyweights better get in shape because there's this young kid named Mike Tyson from New York. He's knocking everybody out. And we like, what? We didn't take heed. We was like, Mike Tyson, who the hell is that? We didn't know who he was. I didn't. I think Blood Green heard of him, but I didn't know who he was. So Don King, you could tell, had interest in Mike Tyson. You could just look. He's telling us to get ready, but I think he was just preparing us to get ready so he can have opponents.
Right.
So that's why he told us to get in shape. So I think he was trying to still get Tyson then, and he didn't really care about us. So when the fight with Tubbs, when I had got I got the ear infection.
So that was the first one. Second, or the Tubbs fight, and that's the rematch. That was when Tubbs got injured.
Yeah, Tubbs said Tubbs. I'm gonna ask him seriously. Ask him, did he really get injured? So he got injured. So they pulled Bone Crusher in. I said, no, I'm obligated to fight Tubbs because of the marijuana stall. And they said, no, you fight Bone Crusher. That's when I knew that Don King was more interested in Mike Tyson. But we got information that that's what he was trying to do. He's trying to get Tyson, and he didn't really care about it. So he brought in Bone Crusher. And I said, no, I already fought Bone Crusher.
Yeah.
You guys watch the tape. I almost shut him out, almost knocked him out. And I said, no, I'm not fighting him. And I brought lawyers in and everything because, it's about time to go to court for real now. And so we got lawyers and everything. And so he knew that real quick. He knew that we were getting together a team. So we're up in Philadelphia. He thought that the team that I was getting the fight against him was in New York. So he sent us down to Florida. Don't you know he sent us 10 minutes away from the lawyers that we were going to? So we were up in Philly, and he thought that our lawyers were only an hour away in New York, hour, 2 hours away in New York. So he sent us away to Florida, 10, 15 minutes away from the lawyers that we was really communicating with. And so in training camp, I was down in Florida. We would go talk to the lawyers and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And you know, so then, okay, this is the bone crusher. This is a bone crusher fight. So you know, I just was fed up with Don
Mm-hmm.
and everything. I said, man, I just want to move on. And you know, a lot of different things are happening. So when they pulled in, when Tony Tubbs pulled out, and they wanted to pull Bone Crusher in, and I said, look, man, I beat Bone Crusher. I said, why are we fighting him? I'm supposed to fight Tubbs. They said, no, you fight Bone Crusher. So I wasn't going to fight. I took off. For a couple of days, and then I said, you know what? I'm tired of him. I got my lawyers together. I'm tired of keep going back and forth with Don. I said, nah, I just want to get away from him and everything. So I came up with the decision to take a dive. And if you look at the fight, I had to do an acting job. So I told my lawyer and them to make sure I get enough money, not no little bit of money.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I think it was $600,000 I got, or $500,000, something like that, for the fight. Because all they wanted, I don't know, I think it was four, I don't know, but all they wanted was me out the way. This is when I knew that Don King didn't care about me or Bone Crusher. He wanted Tyson. So I said, look, man, I'm not getting hurt. I went in there for Bone Crusher. He could punch real hard.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not in good shape. So I said, look, find out if there's a 3 knockdown rule. And we did. And I said, look, man, I'm not getting hurt. We broke camp. And then he want me to, you know, we broke camp. And then he want me to come back and fight this guy. And I said, nah. I said, I'm going down in 3, and then we're going to sue him. So with lawyers and all that, we was like agreeing on it. And so I went in. I had to make it look good. If you look at both fights, you see that because I went every round. I think I won in the first one. So I had to do a really good acting thing. And the only thing that I feel bad about is that Bone Crusher really think he won the fight, and is another heavyweight champ that's really messed up. You know,
Mm-hmm.
he messed up because he think he did. And if you watch both fights, there's no way I'm gonna let this guy knock me out. And knocked me out in the first round. I just was happy that I was away from Don King. The best thing I got out of that fight was when Bone Crusher hit me. There was a loose teeth in my mouth that I was going to get extracted before the fight, and the doctor said that if you get that injection, it might make you sluggish. If you get that injection, they pull that teeth out.
Yeah.
So I had to leave the teeth in, and so he knocked the teeth out. My brother picked it up and I spit it out in the ring. You could see me spitting the teeth out. He picked it up and gave it to me.
Jeez.
That was about the best thing that happened to me in the fight.
So
and then I was away from Don King.
the complimentary dental work.
Yeah.
Yeah, serious. It was the big teeth in the front, and I was like, wow, man, that they knocked the teeth. My brother picked up and gave it to me.
Now, I'm going to rewind it to your first title defense when you fought Frank Bruno at Wembley, and there's 40,000 screaming Englishmen cheering him on. So what was that like? Did you feel a lot of pressure? Were you intimidated? Can you tell us a bit about the Bruno fight?
That was beautiful. I was actually motivated because here I am going into somebody else's country or backyard, fighting them. This is what I needed. This is what I wanted to just come back victorious. So they made the fight, and the dream was going into somebody else's backyard and winning. That's what motivated me. His people in his stadium motivated me because this is what I always dreamed of doing. And another thing I knew that if he would have had my trainer and I had his, he would have beat me. I knew that he was limited in terms of skill, but he was real strong.
He was strong.
Mm-hmm.
He was strong. And he hurt me once in that fight. He made me stumble in the fight. But my thing was going into that fight, just hitting him with an overhand right.
Yeah, that overhand right.
Well, the thing is that everybody was saying he couldn't take a punch. But I found out that he could take a better punch than they were saying.
Well,
Because I hit him on it a couple of times before that 11th round, and he didn't budge. He maybe a little bit stumbled. So when I hit him with that overhand right, it took about another about 30 seconds to put him on the canvas.
Yeah.
So I'm up here in the beginning of the fight thinking, man, all I gotta do is hit him, catch him. But I was doing before that fight. I was trying to hit him with one shot, and he was okay. So he could take a better punch than everybody's saying. So it took to the 11th round, and it happened. I hit him with a real good one,
Mm-hmm.
and then I finished him off. But we, he could take a better punch than what people were saying, and so I didn't train really bad for the fight. I trained real good for the fight. Everybody was with me training, but I was thinking during the fight, if I just catch him with this punch, the fight is over. But that didn't happen.
Now, so let's hop back again. So let's say
That was okay, right? You understand that, right?
absolutely. But you know what? It was a victory of dad bod over bodybuilder too, right? Because he was a big tank, and you were a little bit heavier.
Yeah, he was muscular, and I think that limited his movement, but he did pretty good.
Yeah, I thought he did a good performance.
He did pretty good, but I had more skills than him. Like I said, if he would have had my trainer and I would have had his, he would have beat me. And when I was over in England, I made that statement to some of the people, and they got offended. But the fact was, my skills was better than his. He was just muscular and a little bit better shape than me, but my skills and my trainer that knew way more than his trainer, and I didn't want to insult him, but it was the truth. You could tell by the way Frank Bruno fight that I had a better trainer than him. In a way, So
Yeah. Now,
that's what did it. A lot of the guys got upset with me when I said that.
because
When I got over England is my second home.
I know.
I've been going back and forth over there, so this really hurt when I said that.
Now let's go back. So let's say that the Smith rematch. Let's say you won that, and then you eventually get matched up with Mike Tyson in a title unification. What do you think that fight would have looked like?
I never know because I'm sorry. I never know because I believe if I'm in good shape, like Mike Tyson, and if I'm in good shape like him, to me I'm a better fighter, skillful wise. He's a skillful. Hold on, I'm sorry. Okay. He's got skills in a different way. He's strong.
Mm-hmm.
He's aggressive, and he has to be in top shape all the time, or else he'll get hit a lot. But I think that I'm a better skillful boxer. I'm not strong. I'm strong, but I'm not. This guy's really strong.
Yep.
He's really sharp. He's lifting heavy weights, and he has all his everything. And naturally, if I would have had the same thing he had, I would still be champion today. That he was big and strong, just like a lot of other fighters. He got natural muscles,
Yeah.
and they big and strong. And Tyson just came in and just destroy everything. I was just a boxer. My skills did help me win a lot of the fights. But if I was in top shape like that, man, the sky's the limit. The sky's the limit. So a lot of fights I was in shape because I was getting ripped off and I couldn't get motivated. Here it goes again. Here's that sad song. This guy getting ripped off. All these things. So I couldn't really get motivated. And it kind of hindered my career. I did the best I could.
Yeah, so you boxed another 16 years following the Smith rematch. Do you wish you retired earlier?
No, I had to survive. There was a lot of people around. When you're the champ, everybody want to be your friend. I did have loyal friends, and there's a lot of partying was going on. I didn't party as much as people probably thought, or other people partied, but I messed up a lot of money. And wait a minute, what was the question again?
It was, do you wish you retired earlier?
Oh, no, and okay. No, and I didn't keep on moving money, finances. I kept moving, and I did like the sport, even though there was a roadblock in front of me. You know, it's a sad song. Oh, Don King ripped me off. I was tired of that, talking about Don King. I just fought. I fought after the Don King situation. So, to get money in my pocket. Plus, I met another promoter, Dennis Rappaport, who was Jerry Cooney's manager,
Yeah.
who really started taking care of me. After I left Don, and I went with him and Dennis Rappaport, and he had everything there for me. Whatever you needed, sparring partners. I was so neglected that sometimes I just neglected the fact that he cared and he really wanted me to win. And I started fighting guys with him. He was winning some big fights.
Yep.
And I lost some other fights because I was up and down. It's like I was motivated for this fight, and this other fight, it's like kept coming back, something kept coming back, and I couldn't get ready for this fight. And then there was some good fights, if you can understand me, that I got ready for. And I feel bad. After our relationship, I went and apologized to him, and I looked back, and I said, look, Dennis, man, I'm really sorry, man. I called him up, and I said, man, you was behind me 100%. This guy gave me a bonus of $50,000 after winning the fight. And I told him, take the bonus and get my kid's mother a car, a brand new car, and he did. This guy was behind me 100%, man, Dennis. And I still speak to him every once in a while. I speak to him on Facebook. I appreciate, talk to him. I text him and say, hey, man, I'm really sorry about, I know you was really trying hard to revive me back and get me back, but I was messed up. Coming from Don King. I trust you this week, and the next week I don't trust you. And Dennis had his package together, ready to go on and win the title. Somebody even told me that if you with Dennis Rapp, you go with him, you won't be able to get a title shot. And I was wondering, why was it like that? They was telling me that, and I never got a title shot, but I do believe him. I thought that you can. I said, no, that is crazy. But I never got a title shot, but I was still fighting with him.
Mm-hmm.
And, I really felt bad. He had everything, sparring partners. If I needed money, it wasn't like Don King or somebody else. He had everything I needed, man, and I neglected it. That's one thing I do neglect in my boxing career. When Dennis Rappaport, 100% was looking after me, man. Sparring partners if I need them. The trainer, he even sent the guy down to make sure I had everything. He used to come, he stayed in the camp with us. And if I needed something, Dennis would have it there. If I would have met Dennis in the beginning, I do believe that a lot of positive things would have happened in my life, in my career, because he was there. And matter of fact, he would come into the camp and hit the heavy bag sometime with us, and be around there. Where that's what Tyson Fury, that's what not Tyson Fury, with Deontay Wilder and all those other guys. A lot of those managers and promoters need to do. Come in there and watch the boxer and see what they need. Try to give their influence. Those fighters, they could save those fighters if they did. But Dennis used to come in, and if something was wrong, he got rid of it. Anthony Joshua, those guys should come in there and see what's going on and make a good decision, and it would save their careers, man. Anthony Joshua could have been saved. Deontay Wilder could have been saved. Tyson Fury, he's like Frank Sinatra. He did his thing his way.
Yeah.
He got Sugar Hill in there, and I know he could get a better trainer than that. Sugar Hill never fought before, so these are the things that I be looking back on and saying, wow, man, this is something,
Now, tell me, so you got two world heavyweight titles. It was a very talented era for heavyweights. Do you think you got the credit you deserve for your achievements?
I think I do, but like we talked talked about before, it was during an era where Don King wanted Tyson. We had a whole bunch of good heavyweights. I think the best flock of heavyweights, was cumulative of, it was like about 12 to 13 contenders that could take away your title.
Exactly.
Nowadays, there's only one or two. So when I was out there was 12, maybe 13 guys that could take your title away back then. So it was much more of a chance for you to lose your title back then. So, oh man, I forgot the question. I keep asking.
No way. Don't worry. Did you get the credit you deserve? And I mean, you're a two-time champ, tough era, beat some great fighters, man.
I do believe that they gave me credit. They gave me credit. They a lot of people, I got credit because I did have defensive skills, had offensive skills, but I just wasn't in top shape all the time. I do get the just due credit, but I do believe if I was in better shape, I would really get praised even more. Evander Holyfield was in top shape. Tyson was in top shape. You had other guys. A lot of my fights, I wasn't in the best of shape, and because I knew that I could miss this punch that you threw at me, I knew that I could block this. I probably would have definitely trained out of fear because I didn't want to get hit. If I didn't have the skills, I probably would have trained a lot harder. But it was hard. The business was messed up. I trained. I had the skills. I said, this could save me because I could block this guy's shot. And that's the way it was. And that's how the fights ended. I knew that I had a good defense. I knew that if I hit him, that he could leave here. But, most of the time, these guys, they was in good shape too. Some of those guys was out of shape, but I was in okay shape, but not the shape I should have been in.
Okay.
So you were in camps with Michael Dokes, Leon Spinks, David Bay, Mitch Green, Azuma Nelson. Do you have any memories or pieces of advice you'd like to share?
No, that was really cool. Being in training camps, you can really capitalize by being in training camps with other fighters, watching different skills. I think it's really good to be in a training camp. It's good to be in the gym, but training camp's a little bit different. There's a lot of stuff outside, a lot of unity. You be together, you run together, you chop wood together. And I learned a lot. I know how to run camps. I know how to run a training camp now by being involved with one. So, and you get to meet sometimes your opponent. The camp we was in, I was sparring with Tony Tubbs and then fighting him a year later. I'm just exaggerating. It was like maybe a year and a half or 2 years.
Yeah, but still.
Crazy.
We knew we had to fight each other. We was all in the camp.
Now, Tim, I'm gonna let out some information that is public, but you're 65 years old, right?
No, 72.
No, come on. I was looking at.
No, I'm 65.
Yeah, that's right. And so, what advice would you, as 65, terrible Tim Witherspoon, give to 25-year-old Tim Witherspoon, if you could?
Oh, okay, good. That is a nice question. If you first in business, in terms of business, if you walk into a gym, make sure you know who's a good trainer, who's not. Make sure you train hard, all that type of thing. You're talking about giving advice, right?
Yeah.
Make sure that you have a good trainer. Make sure you have, it's hard. Make sure that you have a good manager behind you. Let me see, good advice. I had the good advice. Now, why did I go forward? Now I forgot.
Yeah. Don't sign any blank contracts.
Yeah, well, sometimes you get forced into it, but
Yeah.
nowadays they don't. You can't do business and box like Floyd Mayweather is trying to say that he's doing, but actually it's hard to do that. It's hard to box and do your business. Get somebody who you can You got the trainer, and you got your second. Your second is somebody who's a family member, or somebody you really can trust, or somebody you know that could come sleep in your house and won't try to cheat, try to get with your wife.
Mm-hmm.
Somebody that you can trust as your second. You got your cut man. If you're going to fight, you make sure that second is there, so when he says stuff to you, it motivates you. And when you get up in the morning, that's very important for you. Don't let nobody select your second unless the trainer and him has a team and they've been doing it for a while. You just got to get used to it. But other than that second is somebody who motivates you. So if you're down in certain rounds, he can lift you up and cause you to win the fight and all that. You got to stay in really good shape. Let me see what else.
It's a lot of good advice.
No, you got to be in really good. You got to be in really good shape and keep on pushing. I didn't lift a whole lot of weights through the era I came through. The era I came through, the old trainers didn't really like lifting weights. Nowadays, they have all kind of apparatus and things you can use to get in shape. So we just we just chopped wood, but we did not really lift a lot of weights. He wouldn't let us lift the weights and stuff. So, let me see. Other than that, just reach your goals. Keep training hard. You might have to leave behind some people that's going to hold you back. They might care about you, but they don't realize they're going to hold you back and everything. You just got to move forward and just train hard. And make sure that your trainer is a good trainer. And a lot of people, a lot of boxers, they don't realize when they first walk into them rings, them gyms, they don't know who is who. So if you have a friend or have somebody that knows somebody that's a good trainer, take that advice, because I went into the old Paxson gym and just went in with Buster Drayton to his trainer, but his trainer really didn't know that much. Okay, I'm up in there training with him, and you had Slim Robinson, other top trainers in the gym, like, wow, this guy, Tim Witherspoon, is with this trainer, and he really don't realize, Tim Witherspoon don't really realize that this trainer don't really know nothing. And so, as I was going into those gyms, I see the difference in my trainer and theirs, but I still was loyal. I was like, man, Slim and that guy's over there training them all this good stuff, and my trainer was old and he didn't know, so I did feel kind of like, wow, they're getting better treatment, but it just kept on moving forward with old man Booker. But later on, when Larry Holmes, this is what happened before I fought Larry Holmes. I was in the gym with Clarence Booker, and Larry Holmes had heard about me and wanted to hire me as a sparring partner. I forgot to tell you this story.
Yeah.
So Larry Holmes was looking to send people to look for me to hire me. So I went to this. I was in Tampa somewhere. I was sparring with somebody. So this guy came over to me and said, Tim, how come you didn't take that job sparring with Larry Holmes? I said, what? What are you talking about? He said, yeah, Larry Holmes offered you a job. I think he wanted to pay you $1,000 or $1,500. He heard that you was up and coming good. He wanted to hire you. And I said, what? I didn't know nothing. He said, yeah, they told your trainer. So I said, what? He said, yeah, they told your trainer, Clarence Booker. Clarence Booker never told me. So what I did was, I was sparring with Matthew Saad Muhammad, the light heavyweight champion.
Yeah.
What I did was, I left and went with him. I went up to Ali's camp, was training with him. So I heard it again that Larry Holmes wanted me to be a sparring partner. I said, wow, I'm not going back to him again. So I left Clarence Booker, and then I started training with Slim Robinson when I found that out. So when I won the title, I went back to that old man's gym with my belt in my hand, and I wanted to help him. He said, no, I don't want you. He said, don't come in my gym. That's what he told me. So you see how good a guy I am?
You are a good guy.
I knew that he did that, but then when I won the title, I said, you know what, I'm going to go back and help old man Booker out. I had the belt in my hand. I went to the door. I knocked on the door. I went and said, yo, I said, Mr. Booker, I said, look, man, I won the title, man. I want to help you, okay? He said, no, get out my gym. And I said, yo, man, I want to help you. I never would have made it if I would have stayed with him.
Yeah.
So then I walked out the door and I started telling people, yo, man, I went over to his gym to try to, to lighten the gym up and help him. He kicked me out the gym, so I just left. I never would have made it, guys, if I would have stayed with Clarence Booker.
Yeah.
He put me in there with a Spanish heavyweight. My very first fight, who won the Golden Gloves 4 times, and he put me in there with him as an amateur. That's when I knew something was up. I knew something was wrong. I said, so I went in. The guy, he roughed me up pretty good. My mouth was bleeding, and I survived. I didn't get stopped.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm saying, boxing can't be like this, and I'm like, and then after that fight, I won fights. I won fight, and I lost to Marvis Frazier, my very last fight.
That's right. I remember
lost
reading that.
Close decision, yeah. I lost close decision.
Yeah.
But Clarence Booker would have got me killed if I would have stayed with him. I would never be called terrible. I would be called terrible Tim Witherspoon if I would have stayed with him.
Yeah.
By me making that decision, this is where I'm at today.
Yeah, so, is there anything you'd like to promote to people?
Well, I'm sorry. As my career ended, I was always sympathetic to helping boxers out and making sure that the boxing go in the right direction. I think we needed a, what do they call it,
like a retirement fund or something, or.
Well, no, we got to take care of the boxers,
Yeah.
So I would like to help the boxers and stuff like that. I would like to help the boxers. I always put my 2 cents in stuff. What I've been doing is I've been meeting up on the phone with this guy Paul Johnson, and there's a couple other boxers. They're trying to get a union. They're trying to get some kind of organization where we can help the former boxers out, because it seems like when you retire, nobody helps you. If you're a millionaire, you can get people to help you. So there's a lot of boxers I've been talking to. We've been trying to get Mitch Blood Green. We've been trying to get Marlon Starlin. You name it. We've been talking to a lot of guys. We've been having meetings on the phones. My market director Brian Robinson been getting laptops to former boxers. So we're trying to help these boxers out. He be getting laptops. I got a laptop. We sent laptops to Pinklon Thomas. Marlon Starlin got one. So there's the legends of champions. We're trying to form some type of group so we can have something waiting for former boxers when they retire. We can be trying to get in something like a union. And we've been doing this for 2 or 3 years. Now we got Brian Robinson is really trying to put this legends thing together. So when we retire, we have something to fall back on. Right now, boxers don't have a union.
Nope.
We don't have no type of support. And as you can see, Jake Paul and all those guys are really just, to me, it's good for boxing. But what about all those guys in the top 15 that not getting an opportunity?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Not getting an opportunity. So when they do this, Jake Paul get in and fight this guy and making the millions, they stealing from the average boxer. Now, Jake Paul would have fought somebody in the top 5, he wouldn't win, or the top 10.
No.
I don't think he would win.
Top 40 even.
Yeah.
I just think that it's kind of awful that they can just jump in and it's good for certain boxing people, but it's really hurting those guys that's in the top 10. Why can't they get a shot at that? Here's a movie star coming over, getting trained properly and trained good, and he's interrupting, I think, the growth of these boxers. I know that it bothers them to watch him go in there and make a couple of million against a guy that they can knock out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
I just feel bad for that part of it, and hopefully we can get together a group of former boxers that we can stop something like that, or force guys like Jake Paul to fight his way up the ladder. It'd be better for him to fight his way up the ladder, but yeah, they are making big money up there, so
Yeah.
they sure are.
I don't like that. I don't like that, and there's a lot of boxers got to feed their family, to the top.
Well, Tim, I guess it was a great interview.
Yes.
Thank you so much for talking with us, and